What's up, Audionots? Welcome into a brand new episode of Audionots, your pop culture palate cleanser. I am Eric Oldboy, online with the seventh member of the Sinister Six, the one and only Rin. What's going on, my man?
What is up? It's been a while, huh?
Yeah, I think that it's actually working in our favor to go every other week because we have these like jam-packed, just like really tasty, full shows versus us kind of like just rambling for an hour.
Yeah, it's like, how's your day going? Well, let me tell you.
I know the first 20 minutes of every episode is just like listening to a phone call. Like, oh, I'm just listening to someone else's phone call. I'm like, sort of.
Like, do that double tap and skip, skip, skip.
They're like skip, skip, skip. At least they're not skipping a bunch of commercials. Some of my absolute favorite podcast. I won't say who they are quite yet, but man, they start off their show with 3 commercials, and so I'm on my phone like, even when I'm driving, I'm like, you guys are gonna make me crash.
3 commercials.
3 commercials every episode, but it's such a good show. Like I used to have 2 absolute favorite big time podcasts. And this one is still my favorite, despite the fact that they make me listen to all sorts of commercials and they have a Patreon and they have a million other ways to like get money. It's okay because their content is A plus plus. I'm very happy with it.
Wow.
My second favorite show, though, is the funniest thing. I was listening to my second favorite show, and the second favorite show, I'm not gonna like blow up their spot, but I would say they're very similar to us as far as content and style. However, they're Australian, so they have that great Australian accents to go along with it. Can you hear me okay? I see monkey.
Yeah.
Does it sound weird? Do I sound?
So what you're saying is we need an accent?
I think accents help, but here's the thing. This is the best part because they used to be my second favorite, really good. And I got, man, if we could just strive to be more like them as we improve and do better, that'd be super dope. And then I was listening to them today, and because they're from Australia, and Australia is in full ass lockdown, they're essentially doing what we do now. And they've never done that. They've always been in the same room talking to each other, and holy crap, they're having trouble. And it was kind of amusing to me having been through it.
And now we're like almost pros, kind of.
Well, that was the thing when they started, like, how do we not talk over each other? I'm like, well, you don't. You just have to every once in a while pause and let the other guy talk.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like YouTubers when they do this, they always talk over each other. There's like never a like they don't know when to stop or when to pause. It's kind of weird.
It is weird. I think part of it is if you have a host or a co-host that you've done it enough with, you start to learn each other's rhythms. And you know, like, okay, I'm going to finish a sentence. And you're like, oh, it's my turn to talk. Or you finish a sentence. Oh, it's my turn to talk. Sometimes we talk over each other, but not usually.
Yeah. Sometimes I just got to, get it out there. Like, no.
Especially during an argument. You shut your face.
Yeah.
You shut your face. So cool. Right on. Do you have anything going on lately? Any design work going on? I know that we pushed our Patreon last time. So if anybody wants to join the Patreon, it's out there.
Oh, yeah. Join our Patreon. I think this is the first episode I'm going to put on the Patreon first.
Ooh, for all you fools not getting this early, you're missing out.
Yeah. So if you hear this on Monday, you could have heard this on Friday. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, you are not an early adopter. I mean, who doesn't want to go to the movies when a new Marvel movie comes out Thursday night? You don't wait till Saturday. Only suckers wait till Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe I'll give you the link because you can share it on the Twitter.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll share the crap out of it. You know, we're at 3,500 followers on Twitter, so we're doing pretty decent there.
Yeah, we're not asking for much, man. Just
some coffee money. That's all. Yeah. Let us get caffeinated.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get money to buy me the Mountain Dew drink when it comes out.
We got to get that hard Mountain Dew.
But other than that, I kind of refound my passion for my t-shirt business.
Yeah.
You know how we have our T-Publics, up there. I bought, I think I told you guys before, I have a cricket cutter.
Yep. Like the grandmas, because that's the thing I said last time.
Yeah, because my YouTube's full of just older ladies teaching me how to use this machine. But yeah, it's been a while. So I'm basically almost pro at it. And I've been making a lot of t-shirts out of it. So it's pretty cool.
I love it. I saw, yeah. You were wearing one today, and I thought, man, that looks good. It looks so legit.
Oh yeah, right here. Let me stand up real quick.
Show it off. All the YouTubies out there, check out what Ren's got rocking. He made that. Isn't that
Yeah,
cool?
looks legit, right? Ooh. Small
We got
business,
that.
big
We had
heart.
that ASMR going.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've been doing that as much as I watch. Well, as much as I watch shows, so it's a lot.
Oh, well, the beauty of it, I would imagine that you could probably do that and watch shows.
Yes. Well, sometimes if I watch anime, I can't do it because I got to read the subtitles.
Oh,
But
right.
like background shows, totally.
Yeah, I've gotten really bad. I used to always make fun of my family for doing two things at once. And I find myself, especially at lunchtime, when I'm watching my lunchtime show on my iPad, I'm over here like, messing around on my phone, eating all my salad. And like, I'm doing like 20 different things at once.
Yeah, the same as my wife when we first got married. She's like, "Why are you always doing multiple things at the same time? That's so annoying, you know." And then now I see her do it. I'm like, "Oh,
You turned her.
yeah." It was like, "This is the best way. This is the only way. This is the way." Yeah.
This is the way. Yeah, I agree. I was always kind of bitching about it too with my family, and then you realize that we all just want it. Like we want things. We want this information now, and we don't want to wait. And so why this information's over here, I want this information over there, and yeah, we're all kind of crazy like that these days.
Yeah, I think we got to that attention span where it's very short, and
Yep.
we need like just constant things happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Constant information all day long.
Oh,
So
speaking
you,
of
ooh,
short attention span, you
yeah.
said you created a TikTok.
Oh, so I did. In fact, that's great. So we did create a Audionots TikTok. However, I have not made any content yet because I've been thinking about some like solid things. So I've been watching TikTok like a weird old man, just watching, trying to learn the trends of what's popular, what people like, and I've got some ideas. So I've probably the only TikTok creator that puts as much effort into the actual pre-production, but I've been writing notes on what I might do. So I have just like I keep my show notes, I have an iPad full of notes of things I might do. And I think I'm going to start with kind of showing off some of the stuff here in the Audionaut studio and show all those different things off and then make some jokes along the way.
Nice. Yeah, a lot of nerdy stuff in there too.
Yeah, in fact, speaking of, I should have grabbed it, but I got a brand new toy over the weekend. I was in Target, that's fancy for Target. I
Ours is
was
called Targetto.
uh, well, this one is nice because it's new. It's fairly new. No one ever goes there. And get this, they're remodeling it.
What? It's so new and it remodels.
Yeah. And so I knew they have that section for anybody that likes to go to the Target. They have that weird nerdy kid section back behind like the CDs that nobody buys. So if you kind of travel through the CDs or the weird books that nobody buys, on that back wall next to like the posters that nobody buys, there's about 3 shelves of toys just for grown-ups or really nerdy kids. And so I was there and they had just moved it because they're in the middle of a remodel. So I'm like, oh, I would like to see what they have. And I don't think anybody knew it was there yet. So I was able to happen on a brand spanking new Homelander action figure. And it's dope as hell. I'm like, this is cool. In fact, you talk for a second. I'm going to grab it. Now that we're wireless headphones, it'll take me 2 seconds.
Nice. Yeah, I was telling old boy that since he got the toy, and we have a Comic Con coming up called Rose City Comic Con. I was like, you should take that toy and go see Anthony Starr, have him sign it. That would be so dope.
Yeah, you told me he was going to be there. And I'm actually like, yeah, it's crossed my mind. So this is how it comes. I'm going to try it back up here a little bit and get in here. So it comes like a box. So everybody watching on the new YouTubes, you can see this box.
Oh,
It's a substantial box, right? And
looks
it
like a
shows,
book.
yeah, right. And so when you get it like this and you can open it, and there you go. You have the guy, he comes with 3 different heads. He's got the laser eye head, the like angry head, and then the like constipated head.
What
And
face is that?
I know, right? It's kind of funny.
Oh, maybe
But you
that's
can,
that's his like jerking off face.
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's probably his jerking off face.
Yeah.
So you can see over here, see his lasers, and they plug into this head that looks like he's
Oh
wearing
yeah,
like eye
yeah.
makeup. He's got like holes in the head, and so you could pull this look off, and so it's pretty dorky. But it was 24.99 at Target, and I looked it up as soon as I got home on the Amazons, and they're selling it for $45. So instantly, I made
Damn.
I made $20. Let's go.
Damn, it's like they give you the wrong price or something.
No, I don't know. I think that Target just doesn't know. So they also had Starlight. So those were the only two that they had from the boys.
Nice. Yeah, I think our Comic Con, him and Huey's coming.
Ooh, I like Huey a lot. Actually, I like both of them a lot. You know, this guy talking about Australians is Australian too.
He is?
Homelander himself. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You never know with these actors. They're so good at disguising their accents. A little known fact, we're Australian. We just decided we chose not to do the voice.
Yeah, we try to work on our English accents. I mean,
Yeah.
American accent?
Yeah. All I want to do is say, throw some shrimp on the bobby. And I'm not going to do it because then you'll know. Then you'll know that I'm Australian.
I try to twine in some little Asian accent in mine too. So,
So I'm ready. Are you ready to start the show
oh,
officially?
I thought we already started.
Wiki, 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 wiki. It's time for the healthy stream. You know what's cool is Disney. Disney's been giving us mad stuff lately. There's so much good things coming out. And so I thought we should talk about their newest show, What If, and what we think about all the episodes. We'd mentioned, I think, did we mention last time the first episode how we weren't super stoked, or did that come out right after?
We talked about it the first episode.
Yeah. So the first episode, in my humble opinion, was very meh. And I believe that may have been the exact term you gave it as well.
Yeah.
And I was bored and I just thought it was okay. It wasn't terrible, but it felt rushed and there just wasn't enough time. Well, I thought episode 2, and I've seen episode 3 as well. I thought they were much improved, hugely improved. I enjoyed the fact that we got a lot more characters flipping from what we expect them or know them to be. And I thought the stories felt a little bit more original rather than just replaying a movie, but with a different lead. And so that definitely caught my curiosity more and I enjoyed it more. What did you think of the last couple episodes?
Yeah, my opinion on these is still the same. They're all very mad to me. And like you said, the only thing that's better for me for the first than the second one, and I'm halfway through the third one,
Yeah.
is that it's not like I said, it's not a replay of what we already seen. Because like the first one, Captain Carter switched bodies with Cap, and then
Yep.
it's the same story. While these is kind of like, what if this happens? And it takes you like a whole new storyline.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. I liked in the second one. I thought the best story so far is the third one. In the second one, I did enjoy all the swaps we got because we got more than just Captain America for Captain Carter, and then I guess it was Steve Rogers became Iron Man in another one. But I liked we had a lot of guys that were in different positions doing different things, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was fun. And then the third one, I just thought it was a good story. This was of the three by far the best story. It actually had less swaps. It was more about the one big twist at the end that you didn't really see. And I really enjoyed that too. So I like how they're giving us a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that one only got to the part where Natasha meets Banner.
Oh, okay. So
So I'm
yeah,
like halfway.
it gets really good. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody because it's still fairly new, especially if you listen to the Patreon version of this. But uh, there's a lot that happens. They don't do as many like, oh, this time, you know, I don't know, Nick Fury is a robot. It's not like a big twist. Instead, they're all kind of themselves. But the villain turns out to be a twist. What's happening can be a little bit more twisting. I just thought it was pretty clever.
Yeah, because of the what if it's not the character this time, it's the story.
Yep. Yeah. What if this happened to these characters? And then the Overwatcher thing is like, yeah, this is a whole new universe. He goes does his thing. It's pretty good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. So I would give episode uno of What If like a 3 or 4 or whatever I said last time. I would give episode 2 a 6 because I felt it was much improved, and I would give episode 3 a 7. So to me, they're trending in the right direction, and I can appreciate that.
Nice. I'll have to watch it first. Maybe next week I'll do
Yeah,
online.
Next week you could give us yours, and
Two,
maybe you'll catch up.
three more.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. Do you know how many we're getting? Are we getting only 8? Are we
I'm
like?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
thinking
know.
eight.
It seems like everything's been 8, but these are short and they're cartoons, so maybe we'll get 10 or 12. I don't know.
Well, Captain America was only six. Same with Loki.
I think one time I remember them saying that it's not the number of episodes, but the total length that you have to pay attention to.
Oh,
So if that's the case, we should technically get twice as many of these episodes because they're like 22 minutes apiece with like 48 minutes of credits.
yeah, because that's the one thing I hate so much. Like, there's no like after edit credits, right?
Yeah.
And then once you finish the show and you stop it, and then you start the next one, you continue watching, and you're like watching the same show. Like, I want the next episode. Like
Yeah.
how does they not know that I'm done with the show?
They've decided at some point that they want you to watch the credits, and
Yeah,
they're probably selling it to the people working on it. Hey, look how much credit we're giving you. We're not just having you on there. We're making sure people have to see it, even though nobody pays attention to it.
yeah, because I know a lot of like bros and broettes out there. They look at the credits because there's a lot of Easter eggs too on there.
Oh, there you go. I'll wait for them to tell me what they are.
Yeah, me too.
Disney also had some just hot like tidbits I wanted to share that I thought we should get out there because Disney's got mad news all the time. And I was gonna save their next big show that's coming out for our trailers section, so we'll get to that in a little bit. But one tidbit that they had is they announced that the Black Panther 2 will also be featuring the Marvel Cinematic Universe debut of Riri Williams, aka Ironheart. What do you think about that?
So she's from Wakanda.
Well, I don't think she's from Wakanda, but I think somehow in this Black Panther 2 movie, she ends up over there.
Oh, maybe because they have like the all like African American actors and actors in there, and
Well,
it's
part of my
and
understanding was that what's her name, Shuri,
yeah.
goes to some university in America to get something or learn something or teach something, and runs into Riri when she's there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm all for it. There's actually some photos came out today of the actress playing Riri. She was still just dressed in regular clothes, so we didn't get any actual Iron Heart costuming.
I'm sure it'll be dope. I mean, all the Iron Man outfits are dope. They probably look like the one that Gwyneth was wearing.
Yeah, no, I would think
Yeah,
so. Yeah, no, I'm down for it. I love that Marvel's still doing that because think about some of the characters in the past that they would show up in other films, and then it took a while before they got their own. And so in
yeah,
this case, she's showing up in this film because she's going to get her own television show. And so I like that kind of drip it out to us.
yeah. Because I always like the fact that if you want to introduce a character's backstory, having a show is like the perfect way to do it.
Yes, I agree, and this is working really well so far. So I applaud Disney for keeping everything's continuity really
Yeah,
tight.
yeah.
The second Marvel tidbit, we need to come up with a cool Marvel sounder like we have for Star Wars, because we don't have anything. I have to think about something clever. But the second Marvel Studios tidbit is they are searching for a Latino actor to play the lead in an untitled Disney Plus Halloween special. Guess what it is? Do you want to try a guess? Do you already know?
Nova.
Oh, that would be cool. Think more Halloweeny.
Oh, oh shoot.
You got to really like
Ghost Rider.
that's closer. So you got to dig way deep. So I'm gonna just give it to you unless you want more guess.
Uh, Marvel. I don't know. Give it to me.
Okay. All right. So Marvel has a comic book called Werewolf by Night. Have you ever even heard of it?
No.
So Werewolf by Night was introduced like I think in like the mid to late 70s, and they started slowly bringing them out and having them pop up here and there. And in the Marvel universe, they just call them werewolf. They don't really call them anything else. And so they are going to make a Halloween special specifically designed on Werewolf by Night. And I think the idea is it's supposed to come out in like 2022. So October 2022, I guess.
Is he going to be part of the MCU, like big picture wise, or just kind of like a special?
I think that he is still in the MCU. I think their whole thing is this stuff's all MCU. And so I think with something that's so niche like this that no one ever heard of, they're like, let's put this out there and see what happens. And if it's a huge success, you'll probably see more of the werewolf and other things. And if people are like, I don't want that kind of monster in my hero movies, then they'll jettison it and we won't see it again.
They probably just gave it to Hulu. There you go.
What's funny is the original Werewolf by Night, his alter ego's name was Jack Russell, which is the name of a dog. Which is hilarious to me that they were just so on the nose with it.
Was he Hispanic too?
No, so here they when they redid him the second time, so the OG Jack Russell was not Hispanic. However, the newest version of Werewolf by Night, his alter ego's name is Jake Gomez. So you can figure that one out on your own. But he has all the same exact powers as Jack Russell. And basically, it's your typical werewolf powers. They turn into werewolves. They're big, hulking, and strong.
They should have made him Native American.
It's only a matter of time, right? You know, it's only a matter of
man.
time.
I've been watching too much.
Reservation Dogs.
No, what we do in the shadows.
Oh, I love that show. Yeah, I mean, I think we should just make this Taika Waititi Stan podcast where all we do is gush over how much love we have for Taika because that guy cannot miss.
Yeah, because the werewolf reminded me of that one scene where they're fighting the werewolves.
Yeah.
And then the werewolves came into their house because they're going to go one-on-one battle. and then the lady Nadia was like, are you guys Indians? And like, no, Indians are from India. We're not. Well, my dad's Indian, so I am Indian, but we're not. I think you're talking about Native American. And then he's like, well, Jake over here is Native American, but he's not a werewolf. He's Native American. it's so because they're like doing it because they're like Twilight fans or something. It's pretty fun.
Oh yeah, I love it. Such a good show. Yeah. So yeah, for anybody that hasn't been listening to every cast, Rin is catching up on what we do in the shadows so that he can be ready for season 3.
So good.
So good. In fact, on Hulu, I might as well jump over to Hulu. I've been watching the crap out of Reservation Dogs, and I'm here to tell you, having now seen 4 episodes, that it is top-notch Taika Waititi. I love it. I would, out of the 4 episodes I've seen, I'd give it like a 9. It's up there. I like it a lot.
Greasy fry bread. Greasy fry bread.
Man. Greasy fry bread. Greasy fry bread. I love it so much. So if you're not watching Reservation Dogs, you got to get on it. You're missing out.
Yeah, dude, it's hilarious.
And it's different, right? So I like that Taika has a very similar style of writing across the board. And you can always tell because his jokes aren't a ton of like slapsticky stuff, but sometimes it is. But it's always just kind of like these really subtle jokes that just like make you giggle because it's either stupid or just really well put. And this is more of a dramedy than say what they do in the shadows, but it's equally fun.
Yeah, I find myself like giggling all the time. And then sometimes it hits you with a giggle. And then once it hits you, like when you think about it, you're like, oh shit, that was hella funny. Your reaction's always slower to what it is. But
to the jokes.
Yeah, I find myself doing that a lot.
And I believe because of that exact reason, Taika's stuff is the best to rewatch. Like you could get done with what we do in the shadows and start fresh, and you'll get all these other jokes maybe you missed the first time.
Yeah. And I think he has a thing about like going back, he'll introduce something and then later on he'll reintroduce it. Oh shit, he like prepared that in episode 1 and came back. And it's
the long game. I love it. It's great.
Genius.
Yeah. And season 3 is about to come out September or something. We talked about it on one of the casts, but it's possible at that point when that comes out, maybe Reservation Dogs is still on. I'm still watching Paranormal Wellington. I could be watching 3 Taika shows at the same time and just being like in the heaven because it's amazing.
You'll find that Shadows movie and watch that too.
I've been trying to find it. You can't find it anywhere to stream without spending more money. I'm like, God, I have all these streaming services and I can never find stuff I actually want to watch.
Have you tried Redbox?
I haven't tried Redbox. I should look. But I was trying the other day for the OG Spider-Mans. Now that we know, we'll get to that in a bit, but they're going to be probably part of the MCU. I'm like, I want to rewatch those OG Spider-Man movies. You can't stream them anywhere. And I'm like,
Really?
oh, unless you want to spend money, they're not on anything. I look, trust me, I did the research.
I have an auntie that loves collecting DVDs, so she has
Yeah.
all of them.
Well, Ty Danger said, "Hey man, you need to go look in the box downstairs because I thought I'd sold off all my DVDs." And he says we have some sort of mystical box that I've missed, and that there
Wow.
could in fact be Spider-Man movies in there. And so I'm gonna look. Maybe even after this, I'll go look because I'm jonesing now.
Maybe it's like the box that you kept hidden because it has all the good stuff.
Maybe I don't know. I do tend to keep a lot of crap I don't need. So also on Hulu, other than Reservation Dogs being the greatest thing ever, they just announced. In fact, by the time everybody listens to this, because today, what is today? Today is the 26th when we're recording. Even if you listen to the early cast on Patreon, you'll be able to watch this special. It's an animated episode of Pin 15.
What?
Yeah,
When did that happen?
they announced it last week, and so they must have been working on it for a while. But when I read the story, they're basically working on the new season of Pin 15, and COVID, like everything else, has
Yeah.
slowed down production. And so they had this brilliant idea as they were working through it. Let's just have the actors all record audio, and we'll have an animation studio make an animated version. So there's a special animated episode, brand new, that we've never seen, coming out tomorrow. And so when everybody listens to this podcast, you could jump over to Hulu and watch that animated Pin 15.
Yeah, I dig that. I think right now, because of the pandemic, everybody's used to watching cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a good way to do it.
And I think the studios have realized it's a really affordable way to expand their shows and universes and get a lot. I mean, you get a good actor to have a little studio like this and record right from their bedroom. It's no big deal. And
Yeah.
so it makes a lot of sense.
And have you seen that when they voice act, they're like basically acting too? It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's next level. I've actually started following during my TikTok research several different voice actors. And there's this one guy I follow that does the most amazing Ryan Reynolds impression. And it's so funny. It's like such a niche thing to do. And he's always like, half of his videos are just like showing people how to become voice actors. He goes, 90% of the voice acting work has nothing to do with impressions. It's just you knowing how to own the microphone and act with your voice so people still buy what you're selling.
You don't need to sound like them.
Well, for impressions, you do, but he's saying that 90% of the actual paid work is not impression work. So, say you can't do impressions, like I can't do a good impression, doesn't matter. As long as you have a good setup and learn how to act with your voice, you can, the most work you're going to get is with your own voice.
Right. You don't have to like change it.
Right. You don't have to like do some like bad, like Christopher Walken impression to like impress the studio.
Yeah, because I watched a lot of anime and they do that too. They change their voice to sound like the character, not their own voice.
Interesting. That is interesting. Over on Netflix, unless you have anything else you want to talk about on Hulu.
Next,
Netflix is next on Netflix. The new episode of Sex Education is coming out, which I'm pumped about. If the nuts out there haven't been watching Sex Education, it does sound dirty. It is not. It's a tiny bit dirty in the first episode. They hook you with some boobies in the first episode, and then you never get them again. It's a fun, really heartfelt, well-made television show. And season 3 is debuting on September 17th. And I'm excited. What do you think about the new season coming out?
I'm excited for it, man. Right when school here is starting, they're gonna give you the new season, which school is starting too.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, like that's one of those shows. Do you ever watch some TV or movies and you think when you're watching it, like, God, I'd like to live there? That's one of those shows when I've watched it because they don't ever show the rain or anything like that because they're like somewhere in England. I looked it up one time and it like rains 90% of the places that they're supposed to be at, but they never show it raining. It always looks like they're like going to school in the middle of a meadow or some shit. And I think, man, I want to live there, but there is no place like that in the real world. That's just the television version.
Well, that show, it's like a British show?
Yes.
But then they make it look like they're in America in a way.
Yeah, the school's a little bit different the way it's, but I think that we realize that we're all a lot more similar than we think.
Yeah. But it's overall, it's a really good show.
I agree. So if you're not watching Sex Ed, jump on it. You got 2 seasons to catch up in the next, couple weeks, and then you can start watching season 3. The big one though on Netflix, which was kind of snuck at us, like we knew about it, we talked about it in the past, then all of a sudden it was here, is The Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf. And like Ren said, there's a lot of great animation out there. Why don't you tell us what you thought about The Witcher and give us like a basic synopsis of what it was about?
Well, like when I first heard that it looked like Castlevania, I'm like, God damn it, I freaking hate Castlevania. And like, and I watched Castlevania like all the way through. Okay, so don't
Oh, you stuck to it.
I stuck
Nice.
to it. I watched the whole thing, the whole damn thing. But after watching this, it was okay. I enjoyed the whole thing. Um, I think because it was a movie and not a series,
Yeah.
it was kind of slow at certain parts, but then it was basically a origin story of a character that you're gonna meet in season 2 of The Witcher.
Which that's really kind of cool. Yeah, no, I agree that the it was really well done. I thought the voice acting was good. I thought the animation was fine. The story did kind of drag in some points,
Yeah.
and it took me a solid. The movie I think is about a hour and a half, maybe an hour and 40. It took me a solid half hour to kind of get into it.
Yeah, some of the scenes were kind of slow. I like you said, I kind of like start touching my phone for a bit too.
Yep, me too.
But like what made up for it was the action scenes. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, and it had some really good fight scenes where they're doing interesting things. The only thing that was kind of funny to me as a fan of only the Witcher TV show, and we've talked about this in past podcasts where you're a fan also of the video game, is this version of a Witcher, he was almost like a superhero. He could do so many things, like the TV version, because I think they're stuck. Well, either A, they were trying to make it feel a little bit more real, or they're stuck by budget, not being able to do some of these things.
Yeah.
But this Witcher, man, he's like fucking throwing flames out of his hands and he's doing flips and like he could do all sorts of crazy stuff. It was amazing.
Riding a dragon.
Yeah. Yeah, it was incredible what he could do. And it was pretty cool, I guess.
It's kind of like when you see Asian Carter doing all those flips, you know. It's
Yes, it
probably
was very much like that.
it's probably because it's an animation thing where they could do that in animation, but in like the live action, they can't.
I think that's something for me as a viewer that I have to just kind of wrap my mind around, that when I watch something and they're giving me both live and animated versions of the same content that's in the same world, that I just have to be okay with the animated stuff doing those kind of things, the animated type stuff.
Yeah, so the story revolves around the character named Vesmir, right?
Yes,
And
Vesmir.
Vesmir is basically because we know
Geralt.
Yeah, we know
Yeah.
Geralt from the live action. And basically Vesmir is like his master that trained him to be the Witcher. And then
What
this is
I
like,
like to what I liked about Vesmir is they didn't necessarily make him a good guy. You know, he's kind of a bad guy too. He's not as bad as some of the bad guys, but he's not neither a good guy nor a bad guy.
yeah, I think that's all Witchers, you know, they're not good. They're just like the dark heroes of the series.
Mm-hmm.
And all they care about is getting paid.
And that helped. Honestly, that's the one thing this really did for me is it helped me learn more about the lore of the Witchers and why they exist, why they do what they do. Because you got a little bit of that in the live action, but this really helped kind of fill in those gaps, which was nice.
Yeah. And then it's kind of nice how they kind of like gave you a few of the elf stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And
later
it
on
was a
you'll
more linear story.
yeah. Because there's like that one where, you know, he goes back in time to when he was a kid, but it's
A little
still
bit,
like his story, you know.
right? Because you remember with the TV show, we didn't know what the hell timeline we're in every episode.
Yeah, it took a while, like, whoa, oh shit, no, this is what's happening.
Yeah, so I liked it. What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10 nuts?
I think for me, I give it a solid 7.
Oh, that's a great rating. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
right down the middle. I don't know if it's because I'm not as big of an animation fan or because I thought it was a little too slow in some parts, but I'm gonna give it a 5.
Yeah, I went in like hating Castlevania, so my expectations were lower.
Yeah, fair enough. So you win it. That's the key to anything that you like, right? Is you kind of go in not expecting anything, and then if it's anywhere good, you're like, oh yes,
Witchers on me.
Witcher's on me. Do you have anything else on Netflix you want to talk about?
Not much. I haven't been really watching a lot of shows besides Taika's stuff, honestly.
Welcome to the Taika Waititi Hour, where we speak only about Taika Waititi and how amazing he is. Over on HBO Max, I watched a couple things, and I bet you haven't seen either one of these. So I'm gonna try to sell them to you. I'm gonna sell one to you, and I'm gonna dissuade you from wasting your time with another one.
Yeah.
So the first one I'm going to start with is the big movie. So HBO Max is still doing their thing where you get the movie kind of the week that would have been a theater movie. In some cases, you quite wonder if that would have been a theater movie, and you can watch it at home. And so this week was Reminiscence, starring Hugh Jackman. And I thought to myself, well, I love me some Hugh Jackman. He's a fantastic actor. I'm down. So the basic plot of Reminiscence is it's in the future to some degree, and the world's kind of gone to shit, just like we expect it will. And it doesn't really even have anything to do with the story; it just kind of makes it more unique, I think. But the water levels have risen so much that places like Miami are completely underwater, but just the tops of the buildings. And so they've just remade everything into like boats. So you take boat taxis to everything and stuff like that, which I thought was that was part was actually pretty interesting.
It's like a, a prequel to Waterworld.
Yeah, exactly. And so Hugh Jackman, because we're a little bit in the future, runs this. It's just like a business, and his business is being able to help people reminisce, and that's why it's called Reminiscence. And so you go in, he's got all these like doodads and dials, and he plugs you into it, and you lay down in this kind of like coffin of water, and he goes, "Listen to my voice as I take you back to a time before." And then there's this like chandelier thing hanging behind him, and their memories from what they remember show up on that like a movie, and they can see it. And so these people are able to relive their favorite memories. And so his business is just basically selling people back their memories so they can relive them.
And then he
We,
gets into it, right?
well, here's the twist. I don't want to ruin the movie because anybody wants to watch this boring ass movie. By the way, it's a boring ass movie. But he also, on the side, helps the police solve crimes. So he can hook it up to a criminal, and they can basically dig through their memories to see if they're involved in any nastiness. And a bunch of things start happening. One thing leads to another. He falls in love with one of his clients that turns out not to be who he thinks it is. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens. I won't ruin it for anybody that wants to watch the movie, but it is super convoluted. It's very slow. It's not the worst thing ever made. The quality is actually pretty decent. The acting I thought was really good, but I would not recommend it.
See, and this is like it makes me wonder, like, why is HBO not charging for their movies? Is like this. This is why, right?
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of movies that aren't that great.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping this would be like The Prestige or something, like one of those more quiet Hugh Jackman movies that turns out just to be freaking amazing. You're like, oh my god, because that's what
No.
it gave me those vibes. But it just took so long. It's basically a 1930s whodunit, like where he's the private dick working for the dame, but in a weird futuristic setting. That's all it is.
Man, the trailer had more action.
Yeah, it's not nearly as clever as it wants you to think it is. I would give Reminiscence a 3.
Whoa, that's pretty low.
Yeah. So watch it at your own behest. Now, the next thing I want to tell you about is a television show that I had no clue. This was out of pure boredom one day. I sat down at lunch and I'm like, I'm going to watch the newest episode of Rick and Morty. And I clicked on it and there was no new episode of Rick and Morty. I'm like, God damn it. So I was like, what am I going to watch? So I flipped over to HBO Max and I'm like, what's on here? And I'm like, I'm scrolling. I'm like, oh, this is the kind of crap I watch. And I clicked on a television show called Ghosts. And if any of the people really listen to us thoroughly, they'll remember us talking about a brand new sitcom coming to CBS probably 10 episodes ago called Ghosts. And guess what that is? It's a copy of this British version that I'm watching now on HBO Max.
What?
So the concept of this is super simple and it's really well made. So there's 3 seasons of it. I don't know that they made any more, or they just haven't come out with more. But the concept is this lady and her husband are kind of looking for a new house to move into, but they don't have hardly any money. And so every house they look for is kind of garbagey. And then at the end of one of the days, they get a call from someone that says, hey, listen, we need you to come in. Your great aunt has died and she's left you something. So they go in to meet with this guy, this estate planner guy, and he's like, "Yeah, you've inherited this mansion. It's like the Button Mansion. I think their last name is Button. Like, you should probably get rid of it. It's got a ton of work that needs to happen to it. You don't want to deal with this." And they're like, "Wow, a mansion, and we're looking for a house." So they decided to take it and move in and turn it into a hotel. What they don't know, though, when they arrive at said Button Mansion, is it's actually jam packed with ghosts. I mean, like, but they're all funny. It's like this is a sitcom, mind you. And so there's ghosts from every era of this mansion. Everybody who's ever died there has become a ghost. And it's really funny. So the ghosts are upset that they learn that these people are going to try to turn their house that they've lived in forever into a hotel. And so one of them has the power of touch to where it can kind of touch things in the physical realm. And so he ends up pushing the lady who bought the house out the window. And this all happens in the first episode. So I'm not really, they're just kind of, that's how they set it up. She dies for a second, right, from the fall, but they bring her back to life. And when she comes back from the hospital to work on her house some more, all of a sudden now she can see the ghosts, but she's the only one. So it drives her nuts because they won't leave her alone. At first she's scared, then it becomes funny. She starts kind of working with them. Her husband's trying to hire people to help fix the house. They're in all sorts of debt now because they've taken on this project that's too big for them. And it's really, really pretty clever.
So she could see the ghost because she died for a sec.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice.
So that's the plot of it. And I'm quite certain that the American version of this is going to be absolute trash because there's, you know how Americans are. We tend to ruin everything. But this kind of more subtle British humor is really funny because there's one ghost. It's like it goes back as far as like cavemen. So there's like a caveman ghost, and then there's like Renaissance ghosts, and then there's more current ghosts. Like a guy that's like a Boy Scout leader that got shot through the neck by one of the Cub Scouts with an arrow and died. And they show each episode slowly reveals how they died and why they're back and why they haven't been able to move on to the greater beyond. And it's a funny show. I really like it.
I think the Americans already remade it. Yeah, it was called American Horror Story.
Yeah, that show looks terrifying. Though. Like American Horror Story is not funny at all.
The one with the Lady Gaga was the hotel one. Sounds just like that, but like a scary version.
Yeah, so this is the tamer, less scary, has way 100% less Gaga in it. So yeah, I recommend Ghosts. I would give it a solid 6.5, 7. It's better than average. It's definitely the perfect lunchtime show. Like I wouldn't waste trying to convince my wife to watch it because I know she probably wouldn't like it. But I do find myself entertained for 30 minutes at a time while I scarf down my lunch. So I dig it.
And this is how many seasons?
I think there's 3 so far on HBO Max.
And they're all like released?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
So unlike for whatever reason they're doing Paranormal Wellington one episode at a time, this is all there. So you can just kind of binge it, which is what I've been doing.
Cool.
And I have one last TV tidbit. It's a network show. We talked about Brooklyn Nine-Nine coming out, and I have some bad news. You were like all excited to catch up on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's gotten bad.
You watched it?
I've watched the first 3 episodes of the newest and last season, and it's progressively gotten a little bit better as the episodes progress. But the first new episode of the season is absolute trash.
Whoa.
And I'll tell you why. The number one reason, you know me, I usually don't care too much about TV when it tries to be more woke. I'm all for it. You know, Disney is like the king of that. And I love me some Disney Marvel stuff and all their wokeness. It doesn't bother me. But, you know, we've often mentioned sometimes it's so forced, it feels weird.
Yeah.
This is the first episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I agree with the wokeness that they're pushing. So don't get me wrong. I agree with the sentiment of it, but it quits being funny because they're so busy trying to push this one ideal that it's just like, oh, come on, guys. It's not what this is.
Yeah, it's when they force it on you. It's kind of like, just let it be. It is what it is in the show. You know, don't like put it in my face.
The problem that I think they had is they had a show about police in today's world, and they said we can't be funny without addressing this. And so they had to come in and address this whole police brutality thing, and it wasn't funny. Like I get that's our real world, but these are sitcom police. It's Jake freaking Peralta.
Yeah. It was like a jokey show to begin with, you know.
Yeah. And so it's gotten a little bit better. They moved away from it after the first episode to some degree. And so each episode's gotten a tiny bit better, but it's unfortunate. It's like they're making me happy that it's over, that I'll just revisit the old episodes and enjoy those. I think they're definitely done.
99.
99. Um,
It's like a How I Met Your Mother, the last season. We'll forget about that one.
do you have any other TV shows you want to mention before we move on?
Move on.
Move on. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back from our break, we're gonna hit you with the tastiest of trailers. I don't know that we've ever had a more tasty section of trailers. I mean, these are so
Wow.
good. Yeah, these are Dave's Hot Chicken tasty. That's how good they
Ooh,
are.
spicy.
Yeah, spicy. So we'll see you guys on the flip side. And we're back. I got mad tasty trailers, and then I got a bunch of news that maybe some we'll get to, maybe some we won't. It's just jam packed with goodness. So let's get to it. Here's our first tasty trailer. Over on FX. And I'm not sure. I should have checked. It would be a better of me to know these things. I don't know if it's FX or FX for Hulu. Now that I've learned that they're kind of two separate entities to some degree. But FX has got a brand new show called Why the Last Man. It's not like why I'm the last
The,
man.
the letter Y.
The letter Y, the last man. And it's based off of a comic book, which is super cool. So I'm down for that. But the basic concept of Why the Last Man is all, speaking of woke, all the dudes die and all that's left is women, except for one guy. They find one guy, and it's kind of all the situations he gets in. And I'm interested in this. What did you think about the Why the Last Man trailer?
Well, after I watched, I'm like, I feel like the issue with this one is like they try to be woke, but at the
Yeah.
same time, they prove their point that women can't live without men, sort of thing.
Well,
It's
there's a
like,
few women though. I think maybe they're trying to give you the both sides because there's a few women
yeah,
like we don't need them.
yeah. So it's kind of like, are you like you being hypocritical for being too woke? I mean, you're proving yourself wrong.
I think what it is it's a timing thing because Why the Last Man is a comic book that has existed long before we got all like crazy about this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think that the timing of it may feel a little weird. Like we're all kind of like on guard for the wokeness. And I'm not sure that necessarily it's as over the top as maybe the trailer might make it seem. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. It looks kind of like a zombie apocalypse with one guy.
Yeah. Like everybody dies except for him. And what I've read about this is that the comic book is actually very funny. Like it's silly. And so they don't
What?
really give that to you in the trailer at all.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious if the real show itself is going to give us more silliness.
Yeah, because the trailer, it looks really, really dark.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be curious to see what tone they end up taking because from everything I've read, the comic itself is very like kind of funny and irreverent.
Yeah, the only funny part was when that one chick was like, "You look like we can mate or something," or she said something along that line where it's kind of funny.
Well, it's kind of like the beginning of a lot of pornos, right? You're like the last dude with nothing but the ladies. You're like, hey,
Hey.
I'm the only one. No more choices. The next big trailer, like I said, this is the most big jam-packed trailers of all. We're gonna just build our way up with how big these are. I've lined them up. And
Huge.
huge. These are huge. So Eternals, the newest Eternals trailer came out, and they gave us so much more. We saw a lot more special effects. We saw some humor. We got to know the Eternals a little bit. And I don't know about you, but this got me so jazzed. I'm in it for the Eternals. What do you think?
Once Jon Snow's voice narrated, I got
Yeah.
goosebumps. So, oh, what's going on over here?
It's awesome. Well, like the one other bro from Game of Thrones, like straight up Superman. He's like laser
Yeah,
eyeing people, and I'm like, whoa.
it's like that one Spider-Man meme where like he's pointing at Homelander while Homelander is pointing at Superman. Like, what? Same.
Same. Yeah, no, I'm all for it. I don't know Eternals from squat. I've never in my life read an Eternals comic, but I like the actors they chose. I am a little concerned that some of them are too big. Like I'm gonna be distracted by the Angelina Jolies, but otherwise, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, and they showed us some Celestials too.
Yes, we got to see a celestial because a lot of people are like, "Is that what's his face, the Eater of Earths?"
Galactus.
Yeah, and like, I don't think that's Galactus.
I like, bro, a Celestial is bigger than Galactus.
Yeah, it's true. That's absolutely true. No, are you thinking? I'm just wondering your opinion. Do you think that the Eternals will be kind of the glue that holds Phase Four together, like the Avengers were in the early phases?
I think so. Like for example, I know that John Kit Harrington's character Black Knight,
Yeah.
him and Gemma Chan, the Asian chick,
Mm-hmm.
they become Avengers at some point too, as a couple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, so is this alluding to them being the Avengers? Because her character and Rob Stark's character, Superman, they're a
Yeah.
couple, but then they went on a break, and now she's seeing Rob Stark's brother, Jon Snow.
She's only into those Game of Thrones guys.
Yeah, and so they
That's
become
funny.
Avengers later on. So I'm curious to see
That's
that.
that's hot news because, like I said, I know so little about Eternals, and I'm kind of feeling like leaving it that way, so that when I do see this movie, that it's like all new to me.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny how like everybody hates on Thanos, right?
Yeah,
But then in this movie, again, they pointed out that bringing half the population back made an impact to where
it was worse.
it's made it worse. Like it's the happening or whatever they call it,
Yeah.
that's gonna happen. So I was like, so Thanos did a good thing.
Well, I like too that they like kind of cleared up the "where were you during the Thanos" thing in the trailer. We didn't have to wait for
Yeah,
the movie. And they're
yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, we're not supposed to mess around with it unless they're a divergent." But I have heard a lot of other people talk about the fact that supposedly Thanos is a divergent, but maybe not in the MCU.
A divergent. Hold on, it's not the right term.
What is it? I thought they were calling it divergence.
No, uh, I forget. I forget what's called. It's not divergent.
Did I press gay you?
Divergent is like the movie.
Yeah, but I thought they had something stupid like that too.
It
Wasn't it the
was. It
same
starts
thing?
with the D. It's this Celestials, and there's
Let's
the
see.
you know
We're gonna look
delinquents. I don't know.
the the deviants.
Yes.
That's what I said. You fix that in post every time. The deviants, yeah, because
Yeah.
supposedly Thanos is a deviant or part deviant or something, and so it's kind of interesting that they're basically saying we didn't get involved because we only deal with deviants.
Well, is he's like half basically like his like his mom is a deviant, his dad is a
Right.
celestial because his dad is
His dad's like
uh
a titan.
yeah, his dad and Angelina's dad are brothers or something like that. So it
Mm,
makes Angelina and Thanos cousins.
it's so weird to
Yeah.
me. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm interested in this movie.
Yeah. And one theory is that they're gonna fight the deviants, and basically the deviants are gonna like rise as celestial that was sleeping under earth the whole time. Sort of thing. So,
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, I'm down. I'm all for it. I'm ready for it. So that'll be good. My next trailer. This is when you could. We haven't done it in a long time. This is when we'll plug in the Star Wars music. So the newest Star Wars television show on Disney Plus is called Star Wars Visions, and Star Wars Visions is an anthology of the top anime studios giving us different Star Wars stories every episode, and it premieres on September 22nd. Now, as our resident anime bro, tell us what you think about Star Wars Visions.
My lightsaber is up.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you're like, is there like any of the ones that you saw that like that one is the one I'm really excited about? Or are you just excited for it as a whole?
There's the one I can't really explain it, but the one that looks kind of like Luke. and
Yo, okay, yeah, yeah.
he was fighting his sister. That's the one I'm most excited for. Excited for.
Yeah, I'm not a big anime guy, but I like anime. And so this might be the perfect like way to like get me into it because you're taking something I already know and love and you're like making it anime style and they're giving me so many versions. Maybe I'll be able
Yeah.
to say, "Oh, I like that kind of anime," or "I don't like that kind of anime."
Yeah, it's true though, because like for me, I watch anime based on the style that they are. And some anime, everybody like, this is so good. But then I don't like the drawing style of it. And I might
Mm-hmm.
pass.
Yeah, that makes sense if it's not a style you like. But would you choose style over substance or vice versa? Like if there's a really good story, would you put up with bad animation?
No.
There you go. Style over substance.
Yeah, because you know, in the anime fashion, they're very long. And in this instance, I'll watch it because they're short.
Yeah.
But if I'm
Yeah.
like a whole season, I'm like, I can't do it.
Or like one of these animes that has like 22 seasons.
Yeah. One Piece, no.
Like, no, thank you, Bob. Not into it. Okay, so as we're building our way up, these just mega trailers. I mean, we're just getting the best ones. You know, we started off with the Eternals. We moved into Star Wars. What could be bigger than Star Wars?
Nothing.
Spider-Man. Holy crap, this is had to be one of the most anticipated trailers since like Endgame. In fact, they said it had more views in 24 hours than Endgame by quite a bit, by like millions.
Damn. The
And
leaked
so
worked.
oh my god, and they panicked and had to put it out I think early,
Yeah.
but yeah, they somebody some guy who was like a visual effects guy accidentally made a huge mistake and lent somebody this video, probably a source of some sort to look at, and this fool shared it on the interwebs with his name on it. Oh, poor guy, he's never going to work
He,
in this industry again.
he risked his whole career for that man.
Yeah, not worth it. But the next day after the leak, we got the HD version of Spider-Man No Way Home, and holy hell, it's everything we thought it might be. It looks so amazing. What did you think about this trailer?
Yeah, my mind was blowing. I mean, they showed enough, but then they just kind of like prove all the theories that we theorize about.
Yep.
And so
Yeah, I
like
mean they've
as
proven that there's a multiverse.
yeah, so like if like you know my wife for example watched it, she's like, oh, it looks okay. But then it's kind of she
Yeah.
doesn't understand and there's more to that, you know. There's the Tobys of the world that's gonna happen. They don't show you yet because
Yes.
it's still early. You don't understand.
I hope that they save, like I think we all know at this point that we're getting all three Spider-Mans, and I hope
Yeah.
that they save the other two guys for the movie and they don't show them in like a later trailer because they gave us enough that we know. Real fans know when we see Doc Ock show up looking exactly like Doctor Octopus from the OG movie.
Yeah.
When we see all these different characters, we see the Hobgoblin or Green Goblin ball roll in, and we hear William Defoe's voice. We know who it is and where it's from, and then some of them they even alluded to even like more so or less so. We saw maybe the Sandman, maybe the electric guy. So we're getting all these villains kind of showing up and like, oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, I saw this Easter egg and they're saying that at one glimpse, you see the freaking lizard too. I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
What
I've
the
seen the stills of that. I'm like,
It's
maybe.
so
I don't doubt
dark.
that's what it is, but yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I'm hoping that this is the only trailer we get.
Yeah. I mean, they took this long to give it to us, so it wouldn't be shocking if it's the only one
Yeah.
we get.
I feel like they need to wait for the reveal in the movie. That way it's like just like
And so everybody can lose their mind. Like,
yeah. Because for me, I'm a big Andrew Garfield fan as Spider-Man. So
really?
I'm excited to
Is
see
he
that.
is he your favorite Spider-Man?
Yeah, out of the three, he's my favorite.
Wow.
Not movie wise, but like Spider playing
Just
Spider-Man.
him as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So him as Spider-Man or him as Peter Parker?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. I had a theory, and we talked about this a little bit offline, and you had a theory too. So I want to share my theory, then maybe you can share yours. But I had a theory, and I came up with this all on my own, so I'm really proud about it. Is when Doc Ock shows up at the end of the trailer and he says, "Hello,
Hello,
Peter."
Peter.
I don't think he's talking to Tom Holland. I think he's talking to his Peter Parker, and they just edit it to make it appear as if he's talking to Tom Holland. And so I think that these guys have all been awakened, and that's kind of what's happening. They're like, all of a sudden we get to finish all these stories we never saw the ends of.
Yeah, because didn't you say your theory was that since Doctor Strange erased this Tom Holland's memory, people's memory,
Yeah,
it
that it
like
would.
did it reverse
Yes.
on all the other multiverses.
Yep. So the theory being that when he did his little voodoo magic and made everybody forget who our Peter Parker is, the Tom Holland version, that it undid all the rest of them. And so that's why Doc Ock is saying hello, Peter, to his. He didn't know ahead, but now he does because everybody knows. He
Does he?
exposed the rest of them.
Does he know? I thought he did know.
I don't know. Does he know he's Peter Parker?
Because like I remember like him holding the train and his mask is all like ripped to shit.
I can't remember because I can't find those movies anywhere to stream.
I
But
need to
yeah,
rewatch them.
that's my theory. What was your theory?
Oh, my theory was that when Doctor Strange was doing his little magic thing, and Peter's like, "What about Ned? What about MJ?" And everybody thinks that it's Peter that caused the spell to go wrong. But
Yeah.
it's gonna be that moment. It's gonna be the same moment the Scarlet Witch becomes the Scarlet Witch, and Scarlet Witch ruined everything.
Do you think Loki's involved of it? Is it possible that that moment's happening at the same time as Scarlet Witch and the same time as Loki?
Yeah, because when Scarlet becomes the Scarlet Witch, it made Kang like aware of it. That's why he's willing to die, and that's when the timeline split, and then ending that cause Strange's spell to go crazy and cause that multiverse. So the whole multiverse is created from that one event.
I love it. I think that's a great theory too. So I'm so excited. Like I don't know that I've been this pumped in a while because I always excited for Marvel movies. I'll always go see them. I like them all. But man, I am so excited for this movie. I mean, it's gonna give us so much talk about fan service.
Oh, one Easter egg that I found all by myself. You
Oh, let's
know,
hear it.
you
An
know when
Audionots exclusive.
yeah, when at the very beginning where Tom is talking to MJ on the roof,
Yeah.
you see like the aerial shot.
Uh-huh.
Tom Holland's legs was like a 4.
Oh, they're shaped like a
Fantastic,
four.
fantastic 4, fantastic 4.
I gotta go back and see. He's like signaling the Fantastic Four. I gotta
Yeah,
go back
dude.
and look. Genius. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, Doctor Strange becomes a villain, and then Mr. Fantastic comes and saves the day.
Oh, well, there's also a theory I've seen in other places that the strange we're seeing isn't the strange we know, and so it could be somebody else for something. And there's just people are loving it. This is like the ultimate fandom right now.
Yeah,
Everybody gets to come up with theories and share them, and we all get to like imagine what could be.
because there's no wrong answer.
Right?
You
Not
know?
yet.
Yeah, any theory you have could be correct.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love it so much. So I only have one trailer left. In this trailer, you're thinking we're building our way up from, why the Last Man, the Eternals, Star Wars, Spider-Man. What could be bigger than all of these movies
No
and
way.
television shows? I have the biggest news everybody's ever heard. They're taking the best video game known to man and turning it into a television show. I'm talking about Frogger. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Man,
You don't think the
cool.
you don't
Man,
think
that because I didn't. I was too young to have that nostalgic to me. So,
Oh
I
yeah, nor should you. Frogger's a really stupid video game.
yeah,
So the whole concept for the youngins out there who've never played Frogger is you have a frog and you try to originally just cross the road and not get hit by cars. Then you
yeah,
got to cross over logs and not get eaten by like alligators and things like that. And so it's just kind of it's a pattern game. A lot of
yeah.
games back then were pattern games where you just memorize the patterns and you could do them. And so in who knows whose terrible idea this was, they've decided to make a Frogger game show. So this is a reality show on the Peacock network. And this bad boy debuts September 9th. And it's kind of like giving you one of these like reality shows, like remember the floor is lava, it's very similar to that, where there's a bunch of crap in the way and the contestants have to like jump their way across and make it to the other side to win, and but there's all this stuff happening that's trying to knock them off as they cross like this moat or something.
Yeah, it's the same concept as Wipeout.
Yeah, it's like all these games we've
Yeah,
seen before.
yeah,
And so, but the one thing that it does have that I do like is it has Damon Wayans Jr., who is,
yeah.
as we know, is Coach from New Girl, is in it. But he looks like, if I'm being honest, in the trailer, he looks bored as hell.
He's trying his hardest.
The other guy, like his no name co-host, is like getting all excited and doing this thing, like and Damon Wayans going, yeah, yeah. You just see it in his mind. This is a paycheck.
I'm only here to get paid.
Yeah, he knows that's not making it more than a single season. So funny. It looks terrible, by the way. I was just joking. Don't anybody go watch this.
Yeah, I haven't even watched anything on the Peacock, dude.
Well, I don't either because they advertise the Peacock's a scam, man. They
It
go,
is.
oh, you can watch all the content, for free whenever you want. But when you go on there and you try, because I tried, they're like, I thought, well, shoot, if I have to watch commercials, at least if it's something I like, I'll watch it. Some stuff you can't even choose. Other things they give you like an episode, and they're like, are you ready to buy it? And so it's completely worthless, and it's like $5 a month, and it's not even worth the $5. So screw them. I'm
Yeah.
not doing it.
I'd rather get Apple TV, damn it.
Yeah, if I get scored for free, I'd watch it, but I'm not paying money for it. I think it's time to dip our toes in the news jacuzzi. So I got a lot of stories here. We'll see how many of them we can get to. But the big news comes from our homie Elon Musk.
Ooh.
Mr. Elon Musk is, we think, oh, he's gonna give us, what, he's gonna give us a car, he's gonna give us a spaceship. No, this fool is giving us straight up like movie robots. Did you see the news about Elon Musk's Tesla bot?
Yeah, it's gonna be. This is the beginning of iRobot, dude.
It looks just like an iRobot. So for anybody that's at home that hasn't seen this, you need to Google the Tesla bot and see what this thing looks like, because it's some sort of humanoid robot that he claims, and I don't know, I think this is all PR, but he's claiming will be able to show off next year in 2022.
He has a lot of claims, though, man.
But he does a lot of things. Part of it's weird, right? Because he claims a lot of things, but he also makes a lot of things happen that no one else can do. And so it's like, I wonder if this is gonna be real.
See, Elon Musk is kind of like what everybody wants to be, right? You want to make your hobby. You want to do your hobby, right? But in order to do a hobby, you have to have a fun. So you got to create another hobby to fund your hobby, to fund your bigger hobby. And that's what he's doing.
Yeah, it's like the domino effect on how
Yeah.
he spends his money.
Yep.
So do you think that the Tesla bot's the end game, or is there something even past that he's trying to save money for?
Nah, dude, that's just him trying to create more and develop more to be, I don't know, make another better car.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. I think that, honestly, and maybe we're wrong, but I think this is a PR stunt for the cars, because it was during one of his car shows that he did it. And when they showed it on, they popped it up on like there you go. They popped it up on like a PowerPoint or keynote or something, and they were kind of showing off what it would look like. They had some fool come out like a dancer dressed in a leotard like you buy at like the Halloween mart that shows up every year in your local outdoor mall, dancing around trying to be the Tesla bot. I think this fool is just trying to give us the newest Halloween costume. I mean, think about the timing. If this goddamn thing isn't in every Spirit Halloween store in October, I'd be shocked.
It's kind of like, uh did you ever see what Samsung did where they introduced their like character called Sam,
No,
and
huh?
then
So you think this is just a mascot?
yeah, and then like every cosplay chick like took that little, there was like a leak, version of her, like a little drawing, and they like
Yeah.
cosplayed the crap out of her. And then I'm invested in this Chinese, EV stock too called Neo, and in their
Yep.
car they
I have
have
some of
this,
that.
yeah, they have this AI called Nomi or something.
No.
It's like a little like cute anime character like bot in there. So I think you're right. He's probably just promoting his AI in the car.
Yeah, I think so. I think that Tesla bot's not going to be what we think it is. So everybody should like maybe tamper their expectations of what this is going to be. But I gotta tell you what, you can't. You have to give the guy credit because he is always able to keep himself in the top of the news. So good on him.
Maybe he's trying to make robots and send them to Mars, to colonize
Maybe
Mars with robots to make
they
it
could be.
safe
You know,
for humans. That's the end
he's the
game.
guy though that said that AI was going to kill us all, and yet he's making robots filled with AI. So we'll see.
How is AI gonna kill us when they're all in the Mars? See?
That's genius. That's how you do it. Yeah, keep them on another planet until they colonize Mars and come back for us.
Yeah.
We'll teach you. You were so mean to us. The only news that could possibly be bigger than a Tesla robot is the best website known to man, OnlyFans, decided to make a huge change and then went full reverse on said
I
change, which
know.
is super good because you got me palpitating over here, OnlyFans. So unexpectedly, OnlyFans last week decided to say, you know what? We're not going to do pornography anymore and we're kicking everybody off. So everybody has this notice. We're not going to do it. And everybody went to a dead panic. I was talking offline to everybody. Listen, I'm like, someone needs to start another business that takes all this OnlyFans business. And little to my knowledge, that it already exists. There's like a bajillion of them already out there grabbing up all that content. And then all of a sudden, they changed their mind and they said, just kidding. We're going to keep all this delicious porn that's made us rich. But unfortunately, that ball started rolling downhill and they've lost a lot of creators.
Yeah, because like, why?
I was trying to look from a story if it explains what the hell their thinking was to begin with. And it had something to do with like legalities of insurance and other things. And the outcry about sex workers was building up that was hurting their platform about safe living standards and things like that. And then they re-evaluated with a new set of lawyers, and the new lawyers are like, "Nah, fam, you're good. There's all sorts of gross stuff out there. Have at it." And so they changed their mind. But man, how do you make that mistake as a company like this? That's your bread and butter.
Yeah, and you're like, no more explicit content. Yeah, because like
I wonder if I can.
yeah,
Go ahead.
when they announced that, I'm like, yes, finally. And I told my wife that you can finally join OnlyFans and show only toes. Let's go. No nudity. And then they're like, just kidding. And I told my wife, just kidding. You can't join anymore. Those toes are for me. And I thought that it was kind of like some credit card issues too.
It
Like
could have been. It could have been maybe the banks were getting on them.
yeah, like MasterCard or something like that.
So what happened though is, like I said, a lot of these other companies started coming out of the woodwork, and I learned about a lot of them thanks to Mashable.com, of the ones I didn't know that everybody's going to. And so for all of the pervy guys out there listening to our podcast,
Yeah, shout out.
here, yeah, shout out to the pervs. We love you. You keep us in business. Make sure to, if you're gonna spend money on OnlyFans pervs for this information I'm sharing you, spend it on our Patreon too. Rin will show you his toes if that's what it takes.
Ooh.
So the first one that they list here, they gave us 5 top replacements for OnlyFans, and these are still going to be viable now that they've lost a lot of their creators. The first one being Fan Centro. Fan Centro is similar to OnlyFans in that its fans can have a subscription to their favorite creators, but you can also buy clips a la carte. The site takes a 20% cut from its subscribers. For reference, OnlyFans also takes 20%, so they're basically an equivalent. Number 2 they have here is MiniVids. MiniVids calls itself a one-stop shop for content. It has individual videos, bespoke videos for fans, subscription options, camming, physical store items like apparel, texting, chatting, phone numbers to call the content creators, tip options, and contents. Now, depending on what kind of content you do, MiniVids takes 20 to 40% of your sales. So,
Damn.
yeah, that one's not
40?
cheap. 20 to 40. So it depends on what it is. Third, we've got My Girl Fund. My Girl Fund is a one-on-one chat service. Creators can also offer other content if they wish, like custom videos and photos. Creators receive one credit for every message they reply to. It's equal to about $1.80 per credit. So that's how they earn their money on My Girl Fund. So every time someone gives them a token, they get $1.80.
Nice.
Fourth is the big boys that used to control the world back when your porn was only accessible on VHS and you had to creepily go into like some purple store that says adults really big on it. AVN. So the AVN is the Adult Video Network. AVN Stars claims that it's a social media site by and for the industry. Users can make money through a subscription model, but they can also sell videos, messaging services, and receive tips from their fans. AVN only takes 20% of their creative sales. And last but not least is Just for Fans. I mean, these all sound so similar. Just for Fans touts itself as the ultimate adult blogging platform and marketplace. They operate under a subscription model. Shortly after OnlyFans' announcement, Just for Fans released a statement saying that its staff is completely comprised of sex workers and people who've long been in the porn industry, and that explicit content is never going away. Just for Fans takes 30% of their content's creators' commissions. So it's a little fun nuggets for all you pervs.
Does
Good
it does
stuff.
it do they tell you which one's the best one?
Yeah, they ranked them. So Fan Central was number one, MiniVids was number two, three was My Girl Fun, four was Avian Stars, and then five was Just for Fans. And if you want to get extra deep, they gave you two bonuses. Six is My Girl, and seven is Loyal Fans. So I think if you type in porno fans into the Googles, you'll probably get where you need to be.
I'm scared to search up any of those names, man. I'm afraid of those pop-ups.
Oh yeah, absolutely. they'll absolutely get you. So do you want to do we're already over. We're at 116. Do you want one
Ooh.
more news story and then close it out and save the rest of them for later?
One more.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a choice. Do you want an amazing technology story that featured spinach, a insanely scary story featuring a wild animal, or a story from our childhood coming back to life to make us ecstatic and excited?
Damn, that's a good one, but I'm gonna take Animal Bob.
Oh, animals. Okay, so let's jump ahead to that tab. Okay, here's what we got. A bear has bitten a woman in her butt from inside of an outhouse. In some of the most terrifying news I've ever heard, an
It's so
Alaskan
confusing.
an Alaskan woman using an outhouse has been attacked by a bear from below. So
How?
get your mind around that. An Alaska woman had the scare of a lifetime when she was using an outhouse in the back country, and she was attacked by a bear from below. I got out. What kind of accent do you think this lady has? I want to make sure I give it to the story perfect. I'm gonna give her a country accent because it's my favorite to do.
No, go like North Dakota.
Oh, yeah. So I got out there and there was sat down on the toilet, and immediately something bit my butt right as I sat down. Shannon Stevens told the Associated Press on Thursday. I jumped up and I screamed when it happened. Stevens, her brother Eric, and his girlfriend had taken the snowmobiles into the wilderness in February to stay at his yurt, located about 20 miles northwest of Haines in southeast Alaska. Her brother heard the screaming and went out to see. The outhouse was about 150 feet away from the yurt. There he found Shannon tending to her buttocks wound. They first thought that she had been bitten by a squirrel or a mink, something small, like normal people would think. Eric had brought his headlamp with him to see what it was. I opened the toilet seat and there was a bear's face.
Can you
Just
imagine?
right there at the level of the toilet seat, just looking me straight in the back up through the hole, right at me, he said. I just shut the lid as fast as I could. There was a bear down there. We got to get out of here, he said, as we ran back to the yurt as fast as we could. Once safely inside, they treated Shannon's buttocks injury with a first aid kit. They determined it wasn't all that serious, but they would have to go back to Haynes in case she had rabies. It was bleeding, but it wasn't super bad, Shannon said. The next morning, they found the bear tracks all over the property, but the bear had left the area. You could see them across the snow coming up from the side of the outhouse, she said. They figured, are you ready for this? The bear had gotten inside of the outhouse through an opening at the bottom of the back door. I expect it probably got not too bad of a den in there for the winter, she said. And so apparently this bear had just enough room on the bottom of this outhouse to get underneath the toilet, which is shocking because every other outhouse I've seen is just a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
And the bear was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna hunker down for the winter, and
Hibernate
it's
right
all
here.
gonna be good." And she went to sit down, and this thing thought, "Are you shitting on me?" And it bit her ass. Incredible,
Dude.
incredible. I think you chose wisely. That was a great story.
Damn. That's some crazy ass shit, dude.
Yeah, crazy ass shit. And then the bear was having none of it. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna end it there, unless you have anything else you want to mention before we wrap it up. But everybody can look forward to our amazing kids story and the technology and veggie story.
Ooh, what a tease.
What a tease! So you got anything else before we say goodbye?
No, man, that's a good ending. I dig it.
Yeah, and just don't dig it too deep, otherwise the bear will move in. So with that, we bid you guys all adieu. We will see you on the flip side. Everybody have a good one. Bye.